On the evening of October 14, 1987, 17-year-old Alina Melnikova left her home in a small provincial town near Nizhny Novgorod. She told her mother she was going to visit a friend, but she never arrived. The last time anyone saw her was at a dimly lit bus stop where the lamps flickered in the mist. To most, it seemed like nothing more than an ordinary autumn evening. But in truth, it was the beginning of one of the region's most baffling mysteries. The first traces. The next morning, her parents sounded the alarm. Search parties combed the town and its surroundings. Militia officers went door to door, railway stations were checked, dogs were sent into the forest, even the flooded quarries were examined. And then came the first strange accounts. A taxi driver swore he had taken Alina and an older man toward the train station late that night. An elderly woman claimed she had heard screams near the abandoned grain elevator, though investigators found nothing. Several of Alina's classmates admitted she had often spoken of running away to Moscow to apply to a drama school. Yet every lead collapsed into nothing. There were no belongings, no documents, no reliable eyewitnesses. Just fragments of rumor, an atmosphere of suspicion. The town buzzed with speculation. Some whispered that Alina had run off with an older lover. Others, more sinisterly, suspected she had been kidnapped into human trafficking, a subject no one in the Soviet Union dared to mention aloud. Neighbors eyed her parents with suspicion. Maybe they let her go. Maybe they were careless. Within a year, the case had gone cold, but her mother never gave up. She wrote desperate letters to newspapers, pleaded with journalists, even turned to fortune tellers, clutching the faint hope that her daughter might still be alive. The unexpected signal 32 long years passed. In 2019, the phone rang in a police station of a neighboring region. On the line was a woman calling herself by another name. Her voice was steady yet trembling at the edges. "I think I am the girl who disappeared back in '87. At first, the investigators dismissed her. They had heard such claims before, dozens of hoaxes, delusions, or people seeking attention. But this woman knew details of Alina's childhood that had never been made public. The color of her first bicycle, the lullaby her mother sang at night. Only family could know such things. The reunion police traced her to a small, remote village. There, in a modest house at the edge of a forest, they found a woman in her early 50s. Her eyes were sharp and searching. On her temple was the same faint birthmark seen in faded photographs. The DNA test confirmed what seemed impossible. After more than 3 decades, Alina Melnikova had been found alive. Alina's story? Her account shocked the investigators. On that October night in 1987, she had met a man who promised to help her get to Moscow. Instead, he drove her deep into the countryside, took her documents, and kept her under his control. She tried to flee more than once. Each time, without identification or money, strangers turned her back. Soon she was trapped, not only by the man, but by fear and isolation. Over the years, she bore children. For their sake, she stayed silent, convincing herself that the world had forgotten her, that there was no way home. Only after the man's death, her captor, and in a twisted sense, her husband, did she find the courage to pick up the phone and tell the truth. Shadows of the past, yet her return raised more questions than it answered. Why had the suspicious man, mentioned by witnesses, never been investigated properly in the 80s? Did the villagers truly believe she was just a quiet wife from another town? Or did some know more than they admitted? Could Alina have reached out earlier but stayed silent out of fear for her children's lives? The reopened investigation had little to work with. The man was dead. The traces of the past had grown cold. Truth, it seemed, would remain locked away with him. Epilogue. When news of Alina's return broke, the town was stunned. Some celebrated the miracle, while others judged her harshly for her decades of silence. Her parents, tragically, had not lived to see her come back. Only her younger brother, with tears and disbelief, embraced her as the sister he had lost to time. Alina began life anew, this time under her real name. She gave only rare interviews, her voice calm yet unshakable. Again and again she repeated the same message: never lose hope. Even if 30 years have passed, there is still a chance to come home.